Hey, it's Craig Syracusa, and welcome to another episode of Walk in Faith, the show where we go beyond the image and we discover who our guests really are. You might know them from TV, the big screen, or even the world of sports, but do we really know who they are as a person? Do we know what motivates them? Do we know what inspires them? Well, that's what we're here to find out.
On this episode of Walk in Faith, former teacher turned comedian Eddie B. discusses his unique journey into comedy, a journey guided by his foundation of faith. Stay tuned and walk with us. Eddie, thank you so much for taking this trip all the way from Houston.
Right.
You know, we spoke a few weeks ago. Like I said, it was like an hour conversation, and your story was so inspiring. And I said, is there any way you can come here? And thank you for, taking the trip.
Thank you for having me.
Eddie, people that might not know who you are, you're a comedian, you were a teacher. You sell out arenas, but more importantly, you're a voice for an occupation, and you never lost sight of your faith during, your struggles, during everything that took place in your life. You always had this connection to faith.
Yeah.
So now, where did you grow up? You grew up in Houston, right?
Yeah, Houston. Grew up in Houston, neighborhood called South Park, off of Martin Luther King Boulevard. Me, my brother, my mom, my grandmother. Rough neighborhood, but it was cool. A lot of friends in the neighborhood. We went outside, played a lot. Had what we needed, didn't have what we wanted all the time, but. Like I said, we ate good, we had clothes, I never forget we had 3-4 pair of pants, man, and it's 5 days in a week though. So, you had to switch them shirts up. But, looking back on it, it was okay, man. We had what we needed.
You said you went to church a lot, right?
Yeah,
that was part of your life.
Yeah, my mom, my grandmother, they were of that, we're going to church era, no matter what. I remember my mom wouldn't go to church sometimes, she'll still send us. Like every time the church doors open, we were there. Bible study, Sunday school. The summertime, they had vacation Bible school. We didn't even have a summer, man. we were so deep in church at one point, we didn't have a TV. I'm 7 with no TV, man. But I was deep in church, though. I was like radical in church. Like, so I used to be the guy, the little kid in the front row running around and shouting, and I was deep in it, man.
That's great.
What they were doing then, it was for now. And
building that foundation.
Yeah, and what was annoying to us back then, we had to beat us. Like every time we opened our eyes, we were in church. But now, like you say, my faith was never wavering. Like that's what I know. I know how to tithe. I know how to give 10%, sometimes more. Now I learn how to speak life on all my situations now. And to be honest with you, that's when stuff started changing for me, when I started putting my words on my situation.
That's great.
Even though I didn't see anything positive, speaking, I call it talking crazy. Because you got to be crazy to say that you're rich when you have no money in your pocket. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and I would tell my son, look, son, we rich. He wouldn't care. Man, I had to bathe my son in buckets, man. I'll never forget, he was turned, and I turned away from him because I was crying, man. Because, we didn't have necessities,
You said you didn't have a TV and all that.
Yeah.
Now, when you were a kid, did you realize or did you know you were funny? Because I like to think I was funny. Did you entertain your family? What did you do?
Yeah.
Were you the class clown?
No, I couldn't help it. I was always the class clown. I used to get in trouble for stuff. And I didn't know why I couldn't change, man. I was just a funny guy. Not necessarily telling jokes, but I was super smart. So I get finished with my work a little early. And everybody's still doing work, and I have to entertain myself, man. Whatever comes to mind, I do it, and I end up in the corner, or, I put all that stuff. But I used to get disciplined all the time, man. Back then, they used to put the little sad faces on you. They used to pin the sad faces to you. I used to tear mine off before I get in the car. And one time, a teacher knew I was doing that, and she double stapled it, man.
To your shirt?
Man, and I got in the car. I thought I could just snatch off like I did the other ones. And I couldn't. I'm like, I'm trying. And my mom called me into the car, and I got in the car, and I just started crying. She said, what you crying for? And I just say, I looked at her, I said, I couldn't get it off. She bust out laughing. Couldn't find out my mom was a class clown, so I had it under.
So it was in your genes.
I didn't find it out till later on in life.
Was she supportive when you were young, like the fact that you were a class clown, or did you ever say to her, hey, I want to be a comedian? Or
I never knew, I didn't know about comedy.
Oh, you didn't know?
It was just me. Yeah, I didn't start doing comedy till after my mom passed, actually.
Really?
Yeah, she never knew about the comedy side,
When did your mom pass?
We had fun. My mom died in 2000.
2000.
2000, man. It's crazy because my mom, my grandmother died 2 years apart. My mom died my first year in college. My grandmother died my junior year in high school. 2 years apart, different years, different months, but they died on the same day of the month, which was the 8th.
The 8th.
You know, the 8th is the number of new beginnings. I started playing football in college, and I played arena ball. The only way you give me to play for you, I had to wear, that's a quarterback's number, but you had to give me number 8 or I wouldn't play for you. Yeah. Got a tattoo on my arm that says number 8, and it says my life, and they got a football on it. But they don't know that my life stands for my family, my mom and my grandmother.
So now you went to college, and at that point you still didn't know you wanted to be a comedian. When did you realize or know you wanted to be a teacher? Was it the same time you were a comedian? How'd you fall into that?
Never wanted to be a teacher.
Never wanted to be a teacher?
Never wanted to be a teacher, man. But I started to get that itch for comedy in college. Matter of fact, I had my first comedy show in college.
So what was your major in college?
Kinesiology with a minor in health. Back then, we used to use kinesiology to go off into coaching or teaching, God forbid.
Yeah.
You know, or some type of, like in the medical field, like physical therapy or some type of occupational therapy or something like that. It just happened like that, so I got the itch for comedy in college. And then I had my first show there. And then after I graduated, I went to Houston and then, you know, started working in the comedy clubs.
So you worked in the comedy club, and then at what point you said, you know, did you need like more of a stable income? Like, how did you transition to becoming a teacher?
That's the thing. I needed money, man. I needed money, and comedy was just at that time, I guess you could say a hobby, but I wanted to pursue it to become a career. But man, you working out in open mics, you know, a room full of comedians that they don't pretty much like you no way, and you know. It's kind of, you won't see that info. You won't see the light in that. Basically, the teaching thing came about, I just needed money. Graduated from school, you know, to have my son, just needed money. I waited tables, I worked at a car wash, and I thought that, man, I wasn't gonna do physical therapy, but I wasn't serious about school, playing football. And I didn't know that those programs, they don't take D's.
Yeah.
You know, I would have had to start school all over again. I said, I ain't doing that, I'm tired of school. And so I worked at a car wash, saved up enough money to get my teacher certification, and that's how I started. 'Cause I thought teaching always sounds like a profession. Like,
Well, when we come back, we're going to take a quick break. I want to hear exactly how that took place.
okay.
Be right back with Eddie B. So Eddie, welcome back. So now you were a teacher, right? You applied to be a teacher at this point. You're still doing some comedy, and you sort of have a balance. Are there a lot of teachers that sort of moonlight as a comedian?
Not necessarily comedy, but they do other stuff. Every teacher has another hobby or maybe even another job that they want to do.
Really?
Guarantee you. I used to say comedy was my job, teaching was my hustle. Yeah, because teaching did provide a salary. It allowed me to fund comedy. Like fund me going to another state to work in another state.
Got it.
Get a plane ticket, go out, stay a couple of days, and work some rooms so I can get my name out.
Okay, so now you're doing both, and then at some point you decided to retire from being a teacher, right? To pursue comedy full time.
Yeah.
What was that like?
Well, I've been wanting to retire, it just wasn't time yet. I wanted to retire 2 years before I actually did. But when I did retire, I thought I had it. This is the thing, man, I had peace with retiring. Like, I know I heard from God, okay, now you can go. Cool, thank you, about time. Man, waiting on this. But he didn't tell me what to do afterwards. So I figured, okay, since I'm retiring, I can do what I want to do. I'm gonna move to LA. I had it all planned. Take my son to LA. I'm gonna work, I'm gonna drive Uber. At night, I'm gonna go, it's a casting agency. Central Casting, that's the name of it, right? And I guess they specialize in being an extra.
Yep.
Like they work with extras on movies, that's what I heard. I just get extra money. Just be $100, $200 here just to be next to the guy with the lines. I planned to fail. I planned to live low as I could possibly live, you know, because they talking about that leap. Take the jump, take the leap. So I thought I had to start from the bottom. God had other plans for me, though.
What happened? So what were the plans that he had?
Like people say, take the leap. I did that. You know, I had my son was enrolled in school and everything. I was gonna live on my friend's couch. Me and my son was gonna live on my friend's couch in the living room, man. I just had a plan to fail. But like the only thing that could have stopped me from going. I mean, we had our bags packed. The day we was about to leave, an officer pulled up to my driveway. Never forget it. I'm talking about undercover. All I saw was a badge, you know. And the guy said, "You Eddie Brown?" I'm like, "Yeah." And I took a couple steps back. Like, "Yeah? What's going on?" He said, "Oh, nothing. You all right?" And I'm like, "Okay, but what's going on?" Showed me a piece of paper. And it said, petition or an attempt to modify parent-child relationship. I've been having full custody. God bless me with full custody of my son since he was like about 3 or 4. So his mom, you know, bless her heart, she had to pay like back pay, like $11,000 in arrears. Learned that. And so to kind of go to court and kind of get that off, they had to go through this avenue. And I said, modify parent-child relationship. She can see him anytime she want to see him. You just don't. You know, I was real mad, but it stopped me. I called my lawyer. He answered the phone. He hadn't answered the phone in months. He answered the phone first ring. And I told him, I said, what is this? Basically, we had to go through that whole thing, but the process kept us in Houston. I called the school district, hey, we might be a little late. And the principal was like, okay, cool, just come when you can. That process kept me in Houston. And I'm still in Houston. So long that I had to enroll my son in school in Houston. Then I said I'd never teach again. Had to end up taking another teaching job in Houston. I'll never forget, I'm so frustrated because I'm a guy. We don't have our stuff together all the time. We're definitely not planned out individuals. That's why when you meet a young lady or something, they help you plan, you know? And so I'm a single guy. I don't plan well. And I finally planned something and you pulled me back. I thought I had peace with leaving. Well, I gotta stay here. Never forget, I'm mowing the yard, in my backyard. Everything hit me at one time. Like, I was just disappointed in what was going on. And I cried, man. I yelled out loud at God. I was mad at him. I don't care who you are. You got a personal relationship with God, you're gonna get mad at him. I don't care. He's not gonna be your friend all the time. He's gonna allow you to go through the valley and it's gonna seem like he's not close to you. You know, he's not hearing you, but it's just for your growth though. I know that now.
What did you say like when you were in the yard?
Man, I cried loud. I looked up and I said, what else do I gotta do? And I meant it. I was so mad. I did everything I could do. What else I gotta do? Then I got a peace after that. That was the break right there. I said, now I can start working on it. And the whole time I was going through stuff, I never gave in to the devil. That's when he come. He tempted God and after a fast, right? Whatever, you know. I just thank God anyway. And I got to the point where LA didn't mean anything anymore to me. Teaching didn't mean anything anymore to me. Comedy didn't mean it. I just want to take care of my son.
Yeah.
I said, okay, God, you brought me back to teaching. I guess I'll teach. Cool, I don't care. I was so much out of the way in Houston that people thought I was gone. They thought I was in LA doing comedy.
Wow.
And I was in Houston. Then when I went back to teach, started going through more stuff. I'm like, come on, man. I gotta go through stuff at this school, and I came back to work here. Went through certain things and got repossessed cars and didn't getting hit while I was at the lowest point. Like, how fair is that? You know, it wasn't fair, man.
But at this point now, because you had that sort of that conversation with God in your yard, were you at peace with God, or you still had questions like, why is this happening?
Well, that was my big one.
Okay.
Why? What else do I have to do? And then, boom, I had a peace with.
Okay, so now you're a teacher, and now at what point did you get this idea, or when you said, because you called out to God and said, God, give me a sign or let me know what I should do? Like, tell me about that story and how that happened. I think you said you were on the way to school.
I was always into doing videos. I was still doing comedy and teaching, right? And so one day I was all out of ideas. And I prayed to God one day, seriously, I say, God, just give me some ideas. I've never asked God for that. Like, there ain't no money and no ideas, right? Give me some ideas. And that was it. I just know I meant it. About a week later, a few days later, I was coming to school and an idea hit me. Hey, so I put out videos all the time.
Videos like on YouTube?
Yeah, videos on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. And something came to me like, hey, you're doing all these, I heard this. You're doing all these videos. Why don't you make a video about this? You've been tired of this.
So it was like a voice or some
it's
sort of
just an inner
stomach. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I'm like, okay, cool. And I got to work on it. Then
What was the first video like? What
first
was it
video
titled?
was called "What Public School Teachers Like Really Say This Time of Year." You know, I was frustrated. You frustrated all year, but I just started working on the video, and I just set my phone in front of my desk before my kids got in my room, and I started venting, started going in, and I edited it while they were doing work, and then I put it out by lunchtime, and then I got my same few thousand views I always get.
How many?
Like about 7,000.
7,000.
Yeah, when I went to sleep, woke up, it was like at 100,000+. I'm like, whoa, I thought maybe it was a celebrity got a hold to it, and no, it was something that was happening. End of the week, it hit 1 million. I saw an M on there, and I was like, oh. And the videos are just a minute long to make them short enough to put on Instagram.
Yeah.
And I would share it to Facebook and Twitter and YouTube. And I was like, if they like this, I got 11, 12 years of this. And plus, I'm not exasperating topics. Like, I can talk about one topic for 60 seconds. They don't give me enough time to talk about it.
Yeah.
So I can talk about the same topic in different videos. So started putting them out, getting the word out, and then, yeah, I was doing this stuff. I got a lot of backlash from it, from people from the district too.
Well, before we get to that, I just want to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back with that.
Okay.
Be right back with Eddie B. We're back, Eddie. So this is where it gets really fascinating. So you posted this video, you got millions of hits without boosting it or anything like that. We're gonna take a quick look at this video. You guys will see what we're talking about.
When is our next break? I do lesson plans and bump that. I'm cutting and pasting from last week. I'm about to go to Teachers Pay Teachers and get lesson plans for the whole year. Ooh, how many sick days I got? Damn. Can somebody tell me what this means to them? You want me to turn this kid who can't read into an honor roll student in one semester? If I do that, I'm a magician. Professional development. Look at me, I've been teaching for 10 years. I'm as professionally developed as I'm gonna get. Another staff meeting, we just had one Thursday.
So at this point, you're still teaching and recording videos and doing comedy, so you sort of integrated the both at this point. Do the other teachers know? Do the students know that you're a comedian?
Yeah, the teachers knew, but I try to hide it from my kids. Which
Okay.
it didn't last long. It just, when it got back to the classroom, I just shut it down. Mrs. Brown, we saw you on YouTube. Do you work? I give it no play.
What you speak about in these videos, does it resonate with just teachers in Houston, or is this something that if someone in England or another country?
Went to Japan, man. Everybody's going through the same thing. And not just teachers, anybody who really, has issues with their job sometimes. They don't always want to be there, or just not having a good day, or just not really appreciating the structure at your job, but you really don't want to say nothing because you don't want to rock the boat.
Yeah.
It's easy to like it. That's why I say God had to do
name
that.
one thing like that most teachers go through that they don't have the ability to express.
Standardized testing, man, it's not fair because, we have different level learners in one class. We have kids that are special ed, kids that don't speak English, kids that are just low level learners, and they give us a test and it's a basic standard that they have to meet. Well, these kids learn at different levels, and so we have to pay a different amount of time to teach them, and there's not enough time to actually give them the attention that they need without support. We don't have any teachers' assistants that we're supposed to have. We don't have enough money for resources, and definitely not enough time in the day to do that. They do show growth, but it's not standard growth that the district say, oh, they're growing. No, this kid was at a 3rd grade reading level before he got to me. He's in the 6th grade. I got him to a 4th grade level before the end of the year. That's growth. But my job is in jeopardy because the district don't see that as growth because he didn't meet standardized test standard that they give to kids from another school or the private school who test to get into their school. They're great testers. And so we got to teach these kids how to test. It's frustrating.
If you could change one thing, would that be it? Standardized testing? If you could change anything, if you were the superintendent, if you had the ability to make a change, what would it be?
Pay.
Pay?
Pay first.
Is it really that low? I mean,
It's
what does
really
the average teacher make?
in between 30 and 40. I think 40, but I've heard lower.
Really?
40. We have families and stuff we need to do and stuff we got to get for class. And so it's not enough money to go around. But standardized tests, like pay makes everything okay. You know, it makes it a little bit more bearable. We can fund different stuff. So I think pay first, then standardized tests, and then class sizes, then support from administration. We just need more support.
Okay, so now you're a teacher, you're doing the comedy, and then how long was it until, sort of your success, was it instantaneous where your success started to just really manifest, or did it take a couple of years?
I believe this time God had me in a position like, okay, I gave you this, now whatever you speak is gonna happen. Because the teachers didn't know I was a comedian, and so I was like, hey, some spring break coming up. Hey, or it's online. Say, we'll have a spring break comedy tour for teachers. Let's do it. They start chiming in. Oh, we'll come when the tickets go on sale. I didn't even have a place. I went to a comedy club, man. It hosts 250 people. The name of it was the Joke Joint on Fuquay in Houston, and like 250 people. Got with the owner, he didn't know who I was. He told me about the price first. So let's do it on a Wednesday. Long story short, got that, sold out in 15 minutes as soon as I put the tickets up. He called me and said, dude, I don't know who you are, but you're gonna have to add another show. So I added another show. That show sold out in 20 minutes. And so we start going backwards. So Wednesday, 7-9, Tuesday, 7-9, Monday, 7-9. I said, we just got to stop. So we had 6 shows. And spring break, it was still a month out. And it sold out so fast. And then it turned into the Teachers Only Comedy Tour. And we did a few more comedy clubs. I say, there's no way I can go on tour doing 6 shows in a weekend. It's not gonna happen. Or 3 shows in one night. So I said, let's find a bigger venue. That's when it started turning into theaters and arenas.
You went through the adversity as a teacher, and you have that experience, and then you're using the platform of comedy to sort of make a change and a difference. So like an advocate.
Man, God knows what he's doing,
people,
man.
I mean, do people use comedy usually to make changes?
No, because God, man.
That's what I'm saying. It's not common, right?
I mean, look at man. I said, God's selfish, man. He want all the glory. He's so selfish, man. It's awesome. Because I didn't have a big following at first, and it was hard for me to do comedy for a certain group of people. Like I can only do comedy for people who grew up like I grew up. I couldn't entertain people who didn't understand me. Now I have a wide variety of support, all races, all religions, all backgrounds.
Different countries, you said
Beautiful.
Japan.
Everywhere, man, it's awesome. And he's using that, and I see change coming for teachers because now, I said the outside world, you're not teaching, the outside world is paying attention. That's why you see the TV networks coming in now, and you see the news, they're paying attention to the numbers. They see all these people following this guy. What is he saying? Oh, they're teachers. Oh my God, what is the message? What is he saying to
when
y'all?
you first told me, I said, it's such a brilliant idea. It seems like it's so basic, like how come somebody else, wouldn't have thought of that? And then when you hear it and you really think about it, you're like, he's speaking about being a teacher and how it blew up. Okay, so now a few years later, I don't know exactly what happened, but now this platform has led you to a deal with ABC.
Yeah, I'm on tour. I was on tour.
I mean, and how it happened is not common.
Yeah.
I mean, tell me about that.
Well, I got with an agency. They booked more dates for me. I got with them. I let them. I told them straight in the meeting. I say, only way I'll even deal with y'all if y'all can bring me TV. Because I'm an actor, though. They don't know that. I'm an actor. That's my dream job, to act. And so okay. They were on it because it sells.
Yeah.
What Hollywood specializes in doing is creating reality, right? This is a reality you don't have to create. It's there. The stories are there. The material is there. We don't have to reach. It's right there. So all I gotta do is recall stories and boom. And so after a while, got the call. They're like, hey, we want to work on the show, I work with, we had to see what network we're going to use. So, oh my God, I must have visited like 10, 11 different networks. And I sat and I listened, and everybody asked me, how did it start? And the first thing I said was, hey, I got to be honest with you. One day I asked God for some ideas, and boom, he gave me this idea. And so I don't care if people don't believe in God, man. You cannot deflect what he did for me. You see the outcome. And you ask me about how it happened, and I tell you God did it. Well, you got to ride with that.
What do they say? I mean, because in Hollywood, I don't want to
Everybody's
stereotype, but most of them are not into faith.
They're not super religious.
And when you say something like that, what was their reaction?
I see faces. Some people like, oh yeah, okay, oh that's cute. Oh, and someone be like, oh cool, and someone be like, no, we don't want to use him. You know, you're not gonna work on that. But I said to God, just always remind me to say how it happened, and He does.
Okay, so let's say you had an opportunity where they said, you know, we love you, but we want you to tone down the whole Jesus thing, the whole faith thing, and not focus on that. I mean, because you have a strong conviction, you have a strong, you're deeper in your faith. Would you say, you know what, God, I really need this, and I'm gonna, you know, stop talking about you for a while just for my own success?
Wouldn't do that. I don't need that job. As quick as He gave it to you, He could take it away. I think if you can't use your voice, well, what do He need you for? You know, He gonna build up somebody. He gonna build up somebody to get what he need to get across. And I always say Jesus is real. That's my thing. Jesus is real. I use it as a tag phrase. I was doing this in comedy clubs and I'm cursing. Like I'm doing crazy jokes. I'm like, hey, and Jesus is real would be something I would say like a tag phrase instead of saying like it is what it is or saying forget it. Hey, I can't do nothing about it. Hey, Jesus is real. Bills, man, Jesus is real. Can't do nothing about it. I'm broke. Jesus is real. Okay.
That's great.
And I used to say it on stage all the time. It's just me. So I think in my show, you're going to hear a lot of that. Jesus is real. And see, I mean, God know what He's doing, man. People see it as a tag phrase, but it's really what I believe.
That's great.
You know? And I'm not pushing it. I don't push religion on anybody. So, but yeah, I wouldn't do it if they told me I had to tone it down.
What do you think the ultimate plan is for your life? What does Jesus have? What does God have in store for you?
I do believe it's going to change. Change is going to happen for teachers. He's using me to be a voice for the people who don't have a voice. I know that for a fact. TV show is going to open it up to a wide variety of people, and I think it'll bring change to what teachers really go through, and hopefully we'll get more pay and adjustment to standardized testing, and just a way and I don't want no credit, because you asked me how it happened. That's what I'm gonna say.
And that's
God did it for teachers.
That's beautiful. Eddie, thank you so much for this opportunity. Hope you enjoyed today's episode of Walk in Faith. Always remember, you have the ability to inspire and evangelize through your words and actions. Till next time, thank you. God bless.
God bless.